Imagine living a life where nothing can shake your peace. No matter what happens, criticism, stress, or chaos, you remain calm, steady, and unbothered. How incredible would it be to go through life with that kind of inner strength? Today, we're exploring 10 powerful Buddhist principles that can help you build unshakable peace. These teachings aren't just ancient wisdom. They are practical, life-changing lessons you can apply right now. As Buddha once said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. If you're ready to master your emotions, overcome negativity, and build an unbreakable mindset, keep watching. This may be the wisdom you've been searching for. 1. Master your reactions. One of the biggest reasons we suffer in life isn't because of what happens to us, but because of how we react to what happens. Imagine if no criticism, no insult, and no problem could shake your inner peace. How powerful would that be? Buddhism teaches that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control how you respond. This is the difference between a person who is constantly frustrated by life and one who remains calm no matter what. Most of the time, our suffering doesn't come from outside events, but from our own mind. Think about it. Someone says something rude to you, and your mind starts repeating their words over and over, making you feel worse. You fail at something, and instead of moving on, you keep thinking, I'm not good enough. You face a problem, and instead of staying calm and finding a solution, you let stress take over. It's not the event that causes suffering. It's the way we hold on to it in our mind. The good news? You can train yourself to stop this cycle. Buddha once said, rule your mind, or it will rule you. The next time something upsets you, don't react immediately. Take a deep breath. Give yourself a few seconds before saying or doing anything. Most of the time, our first reaction is emotional and makes things worse. But if you pause, you give yourself time to respond wisely instead of reacting blindly. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a river, and the water is rushing past you. Thoughts, emotions, and events are like the water. You can observe them without being carried away. If someone insults you, recognize it as just words in the air. If something goes wrong, see it as a temporary situation, not the end of the world. If negative thoughts arise, remind yourself that they are just thoughts, not reality. Most of our suffering comes from the ego, the part of us that feels attacked when criticized, that wants to be right, and that takes everything personally. But what if you let go of that? If someone insults you, instead of defending yourself, simply say, okay, that's your opinion. If you fail at something, instead of feeling ashamed, say, this is a lesson, not a loss. When you stop identifying with your ego, you stop feeling hurt by things that don't really matter. You don't need a big event to start practicing this principle. You can begin with small, everyday situations. If someone cuts you off in traffic, instead of getting angry, just let it go. If you drop something or make a mistake, instead of cursing, just laugh and move on. If someone is rude, instead of reacting, just smile and stay calm. Every time you practice this, your mind becomes stronger and calmer. Over time, you'll notice that things that used to bother you no longer have power over you. A strong person isn't someone who never faces problems. A strong person is someone who faces problems without losing their peace. When you master your reactions, you become untouchable. Buddha said, you will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. This means that when you react with anger, stress, or frustration, you are only hurting yourself. But when you stay calm, you keep your power. Nothing has power over you unless you allow it. You can observe without absorbing. The calmer your mind, the stronger you become. If you practice this principle, you will feel lighter, happier, and completely in control of your emotions. And that is the first step toward true inner peace. Stay tuned for the next principle, because we are just getting started on your journey to becoming unshakable. 2. Detach from the opinions of others. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you stopped worrying about what others think of you. Most people live their entire lives trapped by the opinions of others, constantly adjusting themselves to gain approval or avoid criticism. But what if you didn't need validation from anyone? What if nothing that anyone said about you, good or bad, could affect your inner peace? This is what Buddhism teaches. True freedom comes from within, not from the approval of others. One of Buddha's most powerful lessons is this: do not look for sanctuary in anyone except yourself. This means that no one else's opinion should have the power to shape your happiness, confidence, or self-worth. The truth is, people will always have something to say. No matter what you do, some will praise you, some will criticize you, and some won't care at all. If you spend your life trying to please everyone, you'll end up exhausted, frustrated, and lost. But if you detach from their opinions and stay true to yourself, you'll experience a level of peace that few people ever reach. Think about this. When someone compliments you, you feel good. When someone insults you, you feel bad. But why? Their words don't have any real power. It's your mind that gives them power. If a stranger says, "You're amazing," and you believe it, you feel happy. If the same stranger says you're worthless, and you believe it, you feel sad. But the stranger doesn't control your emotions. You do. The real question is, why are you giving so much power to others? Why does their opinion determine how you feel? Detachment from opinions doesn't mean you ignore advice or never listen to feedback. It simply means that you don't allow external voices to control your inner state. If someone praises you, you accept it with gratitude, but you don't let it inflate your ego. If someone criticizes you, you listen if it's useful, but you don't let it shake your confidence. You remain centered, unaffected by the highs and lows of public opinion. Buddha told a famous story about a man who insulted him. Instead of getting angry or defending himself, Buddha simply asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man replied, "It still belongs to the person who offered it." Buddha smiled and said, "Exactly, I do not accept your insult, so it still belongs to you." This is the key. When someone speaks negatively about you, you don't have to accept their words. Just let them pass by like the wind. When you stop seeking validation from others, you become truly free. You are no longer controlled by what people say or think. You make decisions based on your own values, not based on fear of judgment. You no longer waste energy trying to prove yourself to people who don't matter. And most importantly, you stop suffering over things that are out of your control. So how do you practice this in daily life? Start small. The next time someone gives you a compliment, accept it with a simple thank you instead of letting it boost your ego. The next time someone criticizes you, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, does this really matter? Do I need to let this affect me? Most of the time, the answer is no. The more you practice, the stronger you become. When you detach from opinions, you stop living for others and start living for yourself. You no longer need approval to feel worthy. You no longer fear criticism because it can't touch your inner peace. You become like a mountain, unshaken by the wind of public opinion. And in that stillness, you find true freedom. Remember, your peace is too valuable to be given away to random opinions. The only opinion that truly matters is your own. The moment you realize this, nothing anyone says about you can ever disturb your inner calm again. And that is the beginning of true power. 3. Master your emotions. Imagine a life where nothing can make you lose control. Not anger, not frustration, not fear. No matter what happens, you remain calm, collected, and in control. Most people live as slaves to their emotions, reacting impulsively to every situation. But Buddhism teaches that true power comes from mastering your emotions. When you control your reactions, you control your life. Buddha once said, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger." This means that anger itself is the real enemy. It destroys your peace, clouds your judgment, and makes you suffer. The same is true for fear, jealousy, and sadness. These emotions don't harm others as much as they harm you. If someone insults you and you get angry, who suffers? You do. If you let fear stop you from taking action, who loses? You do. But if you learn to control these emotions, nothing can disturb your inner peace. Think of emotions like fire. When controlled, fire gives warmth, light, and energy. But when uncontrolled, it burns everything down. Anger, fear, and frustration are the same. If you let them control you, they will destroy your happiness in relationships. But if you master them, you can use them as tools to grow stronger. So how do you master your emotions? The first step is awareness. Most people react without thinking. They get angry without realizing it. They feel fear without questioning it. But if you pause and observe your emotions, you gain power over them. The next time you feel anger rising, don't react immediately. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Is this reaction helping me or hurting me? Just by observing your emotions, you create space between them and your actions. That space gives you the power to choose how you respond. Buddhism teaches a powerful practice for controlling emotions, non-attachment. This means you don't identify with your emotions, you simply observe them. Instead of saying, I am angry, say, I feel anger. Instead of, I am afraid, say, I feel fear. Do you see the difference? When you say, I am angry, you become the anger. It takes over you. But when you say, I feel anger, you separate yourself from it. You recognize that emotions come and go, but they do not define you. Another powerful technique is equanimity, the ability to remain calm in every situation. Whether someone praises you or insults you, you remain steady. Whether life brings success or failure, you remain peaceful. You don't let external events control your emotions. This doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means you gain control over how emotions affect you. Think of a lake. When the wind blows, the surface becomes rough and disturbed. But deep down, the water remains calm and still. Your mind should be like that deep water. No matter what storms happen on the surface, your inner peace remains untouched. Mastering your emotions takes practice, but the benefits are life-changing. You become unshakable. You no longer react impulsively. You make better decisions. You handle conflicts with wisdom instead of anger. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter. And most importantly, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. So start today. The next time you feel anger, fear, or frustration, pause. Take a deep breath. Observe the emotion without acting on it. With time, you'll realize that you have the power to control your emotions, not the other way around. And once you master this, nothing and no one will ever have control over you again. 4. Embrace impermanence. Life is constantly shifting. Nothing stays the same forever. Everything from your feelings to your circumstances will eventually change. This principle is central in Buddhism, where impermanence is seen as one of the key aspects of existence. Understanding and embracing impermanence can lead to a greater sense of peace, because when you realize that everything is temporary, you stop clinging to what's not meant to last. Whether it's a stressful moment, a difficult situation, or even a joyful experience, the truth remains, it won't last forever. When you start seeing life as a flow of moments rather than a series of fixed events, you become more accepting of change. It's all part of the process. Holding on too tightly to something, whether it's a possession, a relationship, or even a state of mind, only creates suffering because nothing in life is permanent. Buddha's teachings remind us that attachment to anything is the root of suffering. When you realize that all things are fleeting, you can start to detach, find freedom, and let go of unnecessary suffering. Instead of fighting against change, you learn to flow with it, adapting to what comes. When something difficult arises, you don't see it as the end of the world, but rather as a moment that will eventually pass. Likewise, when something beautiful happens, you appreciate it without clinging to it, knowing that it, too, is temporary. Living with this understanding of impermanence means you stop stressing over things that don't matter in the long run. You stop worrying about what others think or the mistakes you've made because you understand that everything changes and passes. This shift in perspective can help you maintain peace and resilience, regardless of life's challenges. 5. Respond with kindness. In life, there will always be moments where others insult, criticize, or wrong you in some way. It can sting, and your initial reaction might be to defend yourself or get upset. But Buddhism teaches us that reacting with anger or hate only fuels the cycle of negativity. Instead, by responding with kindness, patience, and understanding, you can break that cycle and protect your peace. The key is realizing that when someone speaks ill of you or acts out, it often reflects their own struggles and inner turmoil, rather than anything about you personally. Imagine someone harshly criticizing you, perhaps unfairly. It's easy to feel hurt or to lash out in return. But what if you took a step back, paused, and realized that their words likely come from their own pain or insecurity? They might be projecting their struggles onto you. By responding calmly, you don't allow their negativity to disturb your inner peace. Instead, you hold firm, recognizing that their words are about them, not you. Buddha said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love." This is a powerful reminder that responding to negativity with love and understanding not only protects your peace, but can also help others see things differently. When faced with an insult, choose not to take it personally. Take a deep breath, allow the initial emotional reaction to pass, and then respond from a place of compassion. It's not about ignoring the behavior or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing how to react in a way that preserves your inner calm. By practicing this consistently, over time, you'll find that the power other people's words have over you weakens. You'll become more resilient, more centered, and less easily rattled by the negativity around you. So, next time you're faced with someone speaking poorly of you, try to respond with kindness, understanding, and patience. This not only protects your peace, but can also set a positive example for others, helping to break the endless cycle of negativity and anger that often dominates our interactions. 6. Letting go of fear and shame. Fear and shame can trap us in cycles of self-doubt, keeping us from living our full potential. These emotions often stem from past experiences or deep-seated beliefs about ourselves, and they can make us feel stuck, preventing us from trying new things, building relationships, or simply being our true selves. But Buddhism teaches us that we can overcome fear and shame by confronting them directly instead of running away from them. When we're fearful, it's usually because we're worried about the unknown, whether it's failure, rejection, or even the fear of success and the pressure it brings. Similarly, shame often stems from feeling like we're not enough, fearing judgment from others, or not living up to expectations. These feelings hold us back and cause us to avoid situations where we might face criticism or challenge. The more we let fear and shame control us, the more we miss out on opportunities for growth and fulfillment. The key to overcoming these emotions is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we become more aware of our feelings without letting them overwhelm us. When you face fear and shame, instead of letting them control your actions, you can observe them and see that they often come from stories we tell ourselves about who we are or what we can do. These stories aren't truths. They're mental constructs that can be challenged and rewritten. Buddhism also teaches us self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and patience you'd show to a friend. When you face fear or shame, respond with understanding instead of judgment. This gentle approach helps dissolve the negative energy tied to these emotions, allowing you to move forward with a greater sense of peace and confidence. Remember, even the biggest fears can be faced with courage, and the shame that holds you back can be replaced with self-acceptance. By confronting these feelings and letting them go, you free yourself to live authentically and pursue your goals with confidence. Buddha's wisdom reminds us that living wisely and in alignment with our true values helps us transcend fear and shame, allowing us to live a life of inner peace and strength. 7. Forge an unshakable ethical code. Navigating life with integrity. A strong ethical code is the foundation for living a life of integrity and wisdom. It guides your decisions, actions, and interactions with others, providing clarity in moments of uncertainty. In Buddhism, this code is rooted in the 5 precepts, which serve as promises to yourself to live a moral and compassionate life. These principles offer stability and strength, helping you remain true to your values regardless of external pressure or temptations. The 5 precepts are: avoiding harm to living beings. Treat all life with kindness and respect, recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings. Not taking what is not given. Live honestly and refrain from stealing or taking what isn't rightfully yours. Refraining from sexual misconduct. Honor the integrity of relationships and practice responsibility in your actions. Speaking truthfully. Value honesty and integrity in your words, ensuring that your speech builds trust and harmony. Avoiding intoxicants. Keep your mind clear and focused, avoiding substances that cloud your judgment or disrupt your peace. By embracing these precepts, you create a moral compass that helps you navigate life's challenges with clarity. It's not about being perfect, but about aligning your actions with your deepest values and committing to ethical behavior every day. When your ethical code is firmly rooted, you become more resilient to outside distractions or pressures that might pull you off course. It allows you to remain centered, even in difficult situations. With an unshakable code of ethics, you develop a strong sense of self and inner peace, knowing that your actions are in harmony with your values. Living by this ethical code doesn't just benefit you, it creates a ripple effect that influences the people around you. When you act with kindness, integrity, and compassion, others are more likely to reflect these qualities back to you. It creates a positive, virtuous cycle that strengthens your relationships and enhances your personal growth. In summary, forging an unshakable ethical code is key to living a life of integrity and wisdom. The 5 precepts provide a framework for making decisions and interacting with others in a way that aligns with your values. By practicing these principles, you create inner strength, navigate life's challenges with grace, and cultivate deeper connections with the world around you. 8. Living according to nature. In Buddhism, living according to nature means aligning with the natural order of things, finding harmony within yourself, others, and the world around you. It's about recognizing that everything in the universe is interconnected, each element playing its role in maintaining balance. When you live in harmony with this natural flow, life becomes easier to navigate. Instead of resisting what happens, you embrace it, understanding that every experience offers wisdom and growth. The concept of interconnectedness, everything in the universe is part of a vast web of connections. Aligning with this flow creates peace, balance, and contentment. This principle teaches acceptance, allowing you to live with less resistance to life's changes. Acceptance of impermanence. Nature constantly changes, seasons shift, tides rise and fall, and life moves through cycles of birth, growth, decay, and rebirth. By accepting the impermanence of all things, you can cultivate a mindset of openness and adaptability. This reduces anxiety and stress because you stop clinging to things that will inevitably change. Think about how nature handles challenges. A tree bends and sways in the wind rather than resisting it. Similarly, when you face life's difficulties, the key is to adapt with grace and flexibility. It's about going with the flow instead of fighting against it, finding peace in the process. By living according to nature, you embrace the impermanence of life and flow with its natural rhythm. It teaches you to let go of attachments, reduce stress, and be more present in each moment. This mindset brings inner peace and allows you to face life's challenges with resilience and ease. 9. Weaponizing gratitude. Turning positivity into strength. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices in Buddhism, capable of transforming difficult situations into opportunities for growth and peace. By weaponizing gratitude, you turn it into a tool to combat negativity, fear, and suffering. Cultivating a relentless attitude of gratitude helps shift your focus from what's lacking to what's present, fostering a mindset that stays resilient and positive no matter what challenges arise. This practice doesn't ignore problems, but helps you recognize the good in every situation, which enhances your ability to cope. Gratitude strengthens relationships by deepening connections and creating a supportive environment. It also has profound effects on your mental and emotional well-being, helping you feel happier and more content with what you have. When combined with mindfulness, gratitude allows you to appreciate the present moment, notice small blessings, and increase your resilience. By making gratitude a daily practice, you can transform even the toughest times into opportunities for growth, peace, and strength.